The lights were blinding. The cameras rolled in perfect synchronization, capturing every moment with meticulous precision. The studio was alive with an energy that only a live broadcast could produce. Yet, amidst the glitz and glamour, Denzel, Washington sat in his seat, the weight of the world pressing down on his shoulders. This wasn't just any interview. This wasn't another opportunity to promote his latest project. This was a moment that would change his life and the lives of millions who would watch it forever. For Denzel, a man who had seen more of the world's heartache and beauty than most people could ever dream of, this moment felt different. He had faced the brutality of life's darkest realities through his roles on screen, but here, in front of millions of eyes, he was about to face something more real, more profound than anything he had encountered. The host of the show, a seasoned journalist known for her sharp wit and tough questioning, was standing next to Denzel. They had exchanged pleasantries, talked about his career, and shared a few light-hearted moments. But then, without warning, the conversation shifted. The tone became more serious, more contemplative. The audience could feel it, the shift in energy, the palpable sense that something bigger was coming. "Denzel," the host said, her voice lowering slightly, "you've been a beacon of hope for millions of people. Your work has inspired so many. But here's a question I've been dying to ask. What keeps you going? What drives you even after all these years?" Denzel smiled softly, his eyes betraying a hint of weariness. He leaned back in his chair, as though contemplating the weight of the question. It was a question he had answered countless times before. But something about the moment made him pause. Perhaps it was the truth in the host's eyes, the sincerity of the question. Or perhaps it was the realization that, despite all his success, he had never quite been able to fully answer that question for himself. But before he could speak, there was a sudden change, a slight flicker in the studio lights, a momentary pause, as if the world was holding its breath. The screen behind Denzel blinked on, flashing a name that made his heart skip a beat. Ibrahim Traoré, the audience gasped. The host's eyes widened in surprise. Denzel froze, his hand instinctively reaching for his ear, where the earpiece was transmitting the live call. A message. A call. From Ibrahim Traoré, the Prime Minister of Burkina Faso, a man who had become a symbol of strength, resilience, and leadership in the face of immense adversity. A man who, from a distant corner of the world, had reached out to him. And then, it happened. The earpiece crackled, and Ibrahim's voice came through, calm, steady, but filled with an intensity that was unmistakable. "Denzel, it's Ibrahim," came the voice, each word carrying a weight of its own. "I know it's been a while, but I wanted you to hear this from me, not anyone else. Your actions, your legacy, they've inspired me and millions of others across the world. You've given hope to those who didn't know it was possible. You've done something incredible, Denzel, and I need you to know how much that means to me." Denzel's heart pounded, his breath caught in his throat. This was not just a call. This was a moment he would never forget, a moment that would forever change the way he saw the world, the way he saw himself. "Ibrahim," Denzel whispered, his voice barely audible. He blinked, trying to clear the sudden blur in his vision. I don't know what to say." Ibrahim's response was filled with quiet strength. "You don't need to say anything, Denzel. You've done enough. The world needs more people like you. People who stand up for what's right, even when it's hard. You have no idea how much your work has impacted me, my country, and my people. You've given us the courage to fight, to believe in a better tomorrow." Denzel's chest tightened. It was as though a floodgate had opened. Emotions that he had kept locked away for so long suddenly began to spill out. He wiped a tear from his eye. but it wasn't enough to contain the wave of emotion that had begun to rise within him. "Thank you," he whispered, the words barely escaping his lips. "Thank you for saying that. You have no idea what that means to me." And then, Ibrahim spoke words that would forever stay with him. "You've done more than enough, Denzel. You've changed the course of history. You've made us believe that change is possible, that no matter how dark things seem, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. Your work, your kindness, has shown us the way." Denzel sat there, motionless. The studio had fallen into an eerie silence. The audience, once expectant and eager for the next question, was now watching in awe, unable to look away. They were witnessing something raw, something vulnerable, something real. For a man who had spent his career portraying characters of strength, leadership, and determination, this was perhaps the most vulnerable he had ever been in his entire life. But there, in that moment, Denzel realized something profound. This wasn't just about him. It wasn't about his fame, his accolades, or his career. It was about the impact of his work, the legacy he had built, not through awards, not through recognition, but through kindness. Through the belief that even in the darkest moments, one act of compassion could change the world. And that realization left him broken. Not in a bad way, not in a way that made him feel small, but in a way that made him feel human. A man, just like any other, who had made a difference. "Denzel," Ibrahim said softly, "you've shown us that no matter who we are, no matter where we come from, we all have the power to make a difference. Your kindness, your actions, they've shown us what true leadership looks like, and for that, we will be forever grateful." It was too much for Denzel to process. Tears began to well up in his eyes once more, but this time, they were tears of gratitude. He had spent so much of his life trying to hold it all together, trying to remain strong for his family, for his fans, for the world. But in this moment, he didn't need to be strong. In this moment, he allowed himself to feel. The world watched as the mighty Denzel Washington, the man who had inspired countless millions, broke down, not in defeat, but in sheer gratitude for the kindness that had been shown to him. He had given so much to the world, but now he realized it was time for him to receive. And that, Denzel thought, was the most beautiful gift of all. The host, standing silently beside him, didn't know what to say. She had witnessed countless interviews, but never one like this. Never one so raw, so real, so profound. Denzel wiped his face and took a deep breath, his voice breaking as he spoke. "Kindness. It's the most powerful thing we have. It can change the world. It's easy to think that we're too small to make a difference, that we're just one person in a sea of billions. But I've learned through this call, through this moment, kindness has the power to ripple across the world. It can change lives in ways we'll never even know." The host, now visibly moved, nodded in agreement. "You've said it so perfectly, Denzel. And I think we can all learn something from this moment. Thank you for sharing it with us." Denzel smiled softly, his eyes still glistening with emotion. "No, thank you," he said. "Thank you for reminding me that we're all connected. No matter how far apart we are, no matter how different we seem, kindness is universal. And that's what will save us all." As the show wrapped up, the camera panned across the studio. The audience, still in stunned silence, had witnessed something extraordinary. A moment of genuine human connection that transcended borders, races, and backgrounds. A moment that reminded them of the power of kindness and the impact it could have on the world. Before the camera cut to black, Denzel's voice rang out one final time. "If you're watching this," he said, looking directly into the camera, "remember, No act of kindness is ever too small. It may seem insignificant, but trust me, it can change a life. And that's all that matters.